you having any trouble with your balance? Do you take any prescription medications? Has it occurred to you that your medications can affect your balance and it's something that's worth looking into, especially if you develop any new symptoms? So in this video, I'm going to talk about how medications can affect our balance, some of the most common prescription medications which do so, and steps you can take in advance at all times just to stay on top of your medications, and specific steps that you can take if you start to have new problems and are concerned that your medication might be involved. But first of all, I'd just like to be very clear that we should never stop taking a medication or change the way we're taking the medication or change our dose without talking to a doctor first. It can be very, very dangerous to make any changes to your prescription medication. So this is absolutely something that we need to consult with a doctor on. Also, just to clarify, whilst medications can affect your balance, it doesn't mean that they will. So definitely don't want this to be taken as kind of scaremongering or giving you more things to worry about. But it is something that we need to be aware of. And hopefully the tips I give you will help you to take specific practical steps to reduce the risk of issues and to deal with them if they happen. So take this very much as giving you practical ideas rather than giving you something else to worry about, because that is never, ever helpful. So what do we mean when we say that many medications can affect your balance? There are different factors involved in our balance, and there are many of these different factors that medications can affect in different ways. So medications can cause us to feel drowsy. They can cause dizziness. They can cause blurred vision and visual disturbances. They can affect our gait, which is the way we walk. Some medications can cause us to be slightly more unstable when we're in standing, or to cause us to feel dizzy when we get up. So from lying or sitting, when we stand up, to feel dizzy, which can make us more at risk of having a fall. So there are a lot of different ways in which medications can affect our balance. And of course, anything that makes it harder for us to maintain our balance, that increases our likelihood of tripping and falling, can be an issue and is something that we do want to address. So are there any specific medications which can affect our balance? I'm going to go through a list of some of the most common types of medications. I don't have their exact names because even in one country they can be sold under several different brand names, and of course we have members from all over the world here, so it'll be possible to have a fully comprehensive list. But I'm just going to go through some of the different types of medications that can have an effect on our balance. So this list includes sleeping aids and sedatives, antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications, bladder urgency medications, medications for high blood pressure, heart medications, medications for diabetes, for osteoporosis, and for Parkinson's, anti-seizure medications, and opioid painkillers. This list is not completely exhaustive. Any medication can affect something that in some way could affect our balance, but those are the most common ones. Now, something that we need to be aware of is that medications can interact with each other. Interactions between medications are difficult to predict and less well understood. They can't really be studied and researched in the same way because of all the different variables involved. But the impact of these interactions can be because they affect the enzymes that are produced and the pathways via which the medications are absorbed into our body. So the effect of these interactions can be that one medication isn't absorbed enough, or that we absorb too much of it and in effect have a small sort of overdose of that medication. So the more medications that we are on, the higher the risk of interactions. And we know that taking 3 or more prescription medications significantly increases our risk of falling. So this is something to be aware of. The more medications we're taking, the higher our risk of having a fall. So it's definitely worth having a think about the medications we're taking. And I'm going to cover that more in a second, what we can do about that. Another thing to be aware of is that herbal supplements can have side effects and they can interact with prescription medications. So anytime you are talking to someone about the medications you're on, a pharmacist or a doctor, let them know any herbal supplements or vitamins that you take regularly, and ask them, just make sure that those are safe to take with the prescription medications that you are taking. So what steps can we take? First of all, if you experience any new symptoms relating to your balance, you should report these as soon as possible to your doctor. Now, they may not be linked to your medication at all. And if they're not, then there may be something else behind them that you want to get investigated and dealt with. And if they are linked to your medication, then your doctor will have several options for dealing with this. This will include changing the dose of your medication, perhaps changing how you take your medication. So the time of day, whether you eat food with it, how you take it versus your other medications, or they can also look at giving you alternative medications. So there are lots of options. And whether or not your new balance symptoms are linked to your medication is definitely something that you want to visit your doctor and have a conversation and start investigating. The other thing we can all do, regardless of new symptoms or not, regardless of whether we have balance issues or not, if we're taking any prescription medications, is to get these reviewed on a regular basis. The recommendation is annually, and this can be done with your main doctor, with a pharmacist. It'll vary depending on your where you live and the setup where you are. But what we recommend doing, and what most doctors recommend doing as well, is that you make an appointment to review your medications. You take a list, and ideally all the packets and bottles as well with you, and the prescription, and you go through them, and you check first of all that you still need to be taking them all, which sounds ridiculous, but it's not. A lot of people will come out from one appointment with a certain medication, and actually 6 months, a year later, they don't need to be taking it anymore, but it's just become part of the routine and it hasn't been checked. That you can discuss whether they may be interacting with each other, whether you're taking the right doses for you, whether there's a more up-to-date medication regime for your condition, and if there are any changes that could benefit you. I think it's really important that we all know exactly what we're taking and why. So I think we should all be able to look at our list of medications, if we're taking any, and know exactly why we're taking them. Be very clear on the dose, the timing, whether or not it's meant to be taken with food, any red flags that we should check with our doctors about related to that medication, and any time frame on it. So when a doctor prescribes you something, get an idea of when it should be reviewed. Should I be taking this for a month, for 3 months, for a year? When should it be reviewed? And that we really feel informed and knowledgeable about the medications that we are taking. And the more we know, the better able we are to stay on top of it. And that also extends to checking your prescriptions. Every time you pick up a new prescription or it's delivered to you, just check against your prescription that your doctor wrote, check against the previous packet. Is it the right medication? Have they given you the right dose? Is it the same format, capsules or tablets or a powder or whatever it may be? And just check all the details, because prescription errors do happen and they can be very dangerous. So the more we understand our prescriptions, our medications and our conditions, the better position we're in to stay safe and to really look after ourselves in terms of the medications that we're taking. And then anytime you go to the doctor and they prescribe you something new, let them know what you're already taking, the prescription medications, the herbal supplements. Have that with you anytime you go to a doctor's appointment, and just check with them that the new medicine you're taking is not going to interact significantly with anything else you're already taking, that perhaps something you're already taking you can take out of the equation if you add this new one in. Always ask that question when you get prescribed a new medication. So a quick summary: medications can affect our balance. They can affect our balance in a number of different ways. A lot of common medications can do this. So what we need to do, we need to report new symptoms. We need to keep a little log of what's happening around timings and when we start things and when symptoms occur. We need to get our medications reviewed annually. We need to feel informed and in control of the medicines we're taking, why we're taking them, when we need to take them, and how. And if we have any questions at all about our medication, about a new prescription that's come, about something we've been advised to take, about a herbal supplement we want to take, talk to a doctor, talk to a pharmacist, and keep asking until we get our questions answered. Because of course it's amazing the medications that we have at our disposal today. And we want to make sure that we're taking them in the best possible way, in the safest possible way, and avoiding any interactions or side effects which may affect us negatively. And please remember, it can be very dangerous to stop taking or to change any prescription medication without talking to your doctor first. If you have any questions, comments, please do let me know. Click below, go through into the members forum. I really look forward to hearing from you. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you and take care.